Hello. I want to say a word about being in the Garden of Gethsemane. And that is something that I have been stilled in and experienced firsthand and intimately. God asking me to do something and feeling the sacrifice of, God, I don't want to do this, but if it be your will, God, I'll do it. I'll do it. I don't know on the other side of this what it looks like. I don't know how I'm going to get to the cross. I don't know how I'm going to get to that place. But from this place right here, I'm saying, let it not be my will, God, but let it be yours. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus said something in his ministry. He said, I only do what I see the Father doing. And so I don't just create my life or create my mission or create my purpose. I do what the Lord would have me to do. And I walk in step and in tandem with the rhythm of heaven. And so I've been at that place where you're at a garden with the Lord and God is asking you to do something or let something go or put something down. And you're saying, God, I don't know what life is going to be like when I say yes in this moment. But God, I trust you, not my will, but yours be done. For me, it was the idea of divorce and things being so difficult in me and my husband's relationship years ago that I was like, Lord, I don't know if I can do this. And it wasn't because of heinous things. It was because it's interesting. Idolatry it doesn't have to be heinous. It doesn't have to be pornography. It doesn't have to be sexual intimacy with others. It doesn't have to be that. It can be idolatry. It can be putting a job before or congregation before your family. It can be all kind of things. And I remember being at that place where I heard the Lord say, do you trust me to stay in this? Do you trust me? Will you take my will above your own? Will you trust the process with me? Will you let go of wanting to be happy and wanting to be content and wanting things to be all put together? Will you let go of that for a greater gift that I'm going to give you? And I'm so glad that day in my kitchen when I was on my knees and weeping before the Lord. I think at this point I was on my face, not my knees. But weeping before the Lord, I said, yeah, God, I trust you. I'll trust you. Not my will, but yours be done. I've been in that place where we see the Garden of Gethsemane and Jesus switching his will for the Father's will. But it's an interesting idea when we talk about loss and how it's different when God asks us to give up our will for his will, because his will is so good and so compassionate and so merciful and so loving. And even though it might not make sense to us in the moment, it will lead us to restoration and greater abundant life. It's another thing, I'm going to get a little deep. It's another thing when the cup that is in front of us is a cup that someone else has given us and desires for us to take in. And that speaks to times where we might have a story or a background where something heinous happened to us, whether it was molestation or rape or incest, those types of awful things. And when we speak up about it, when we share about it with those that should be nurturing us and nourishing us, they say, oh, we're not advocating for you. We're not helping you. We're not supporting you. That cup of sin, of incest, of rape, of all of these things, you're going to have to drink it, because we're not doing anything with that. And it has to go somewhere. And so in times like that, I don't think we talk about it enough. In times where our family has given us a cup, or friends have given us a cup and said, you drink that, or even a spouse has said, I'm not a narcissist, I'm not arrogant, I don't have idolatry, I don't have demons. It's you. All that you're saying, you drink that. That's all you. You wear that. You deal with that. I'm not taking any responsibility for what's happened. I'm taking any responsibility for what was done to you. I'm not advocating for how this person was wrong. I'm not telling the police. It's just what you have to put on your shoulders, the weight that you have to bear. It's different than when God exchanges our cups. It's different when people say, you take in the pain, you take in the poison. And as it's killing you, it's better in you than outside of you. It's better in you than it being seen by other people or us having to deal with whatever trauma or issue happened. And I want to make those stark differences there, because I don't think we talk about it enough. How God's cup is different than the cup of people. People will put before you filth. People will put before you disgust and say, drink that. And even as a child, you at times may be forced to drink that. Or as an adult, forced to drink the awful sin and hate and abuse. But I just want to make those stark differences, because sometimes when we think about a cup, the cup, we can put those in the same category. That Jesus just wants you to eat. God just wants you to eat that trauma. God just wants you to eat that rape. God just wants you to eat all that icky, awful poison, because it's better in than out. But that's not true. That's not true. God doesn't want you to eat that. God doesn't want you to just live with the pain of that. And as it scars your insides and as it pulls apart your insides, he doesn't want you to live in that. That's not the cup of wrath. That doesn't have your name on it. Jesus took that cup of wrath for you. And when God tells us to say, not our will, but your will be done, that is what many people in our families and in our lives needed to say. I don't want to advocate. I'm scared. I think that this information is going to break apart my family. I think that this is really scary. I don't know how to function with this type of truth and realness. God, help me to be a mother in this. Help me to be a father in this. Help me to do what my mother couldn't do for me. Help me, God. If I'm that spouse that is an idolater, instead of staying in that place of narcissism that I feel safe, I need to say, hold on, I'm causing pain to other people. I need deliverance. I need healing so I can heal other people. I need a breakthrough so that my family can live and thrive. That is not, sometimes we think that's on the victim, or the person that has lived the trauma or the pain and poison. But many times it's an invitation for those that are closest to the person to step in and to advocate and to show up. So it's an interesting concept. I thank God for for allowing Jesus to take that cup of wrath so that we didn't have to have it. I thank God for that. And as the Lord wants us to do tough things, I thank God that we can be advocates for other people and we can step in when people do not feel as though they're getting justice, or people do not feel like their voice is being heard. I thank God that we can do that now. And I thank God that God gives us the strength to be that type of person in our families and in our own life. There are things that with the strength of God, with the boldness of God, with the courage of God, you can face now. The poison that once destroyed your insides, you can heal that space. God can allow you to heal that space by bringing to the surface what you were told needed to stay internal. So I know we got a little deep on here, but I think that it's just something I want you to think about. Are there those times where I've taken this cup that didn't belong to me because those around me would not advocate for me or would not choose to support me? If the answer is yes, and if the answer is I'm hurt by that, I invite you to go to our link below and to pick a coach and to go on a journey to healing and wholeness, because we need your help. Okay? God wants to use you mightily, and he cares about the things that have been a pain in your life. He cares about your healing. All right? I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.